In this first video, we're going to look at the IELTS speaking test scoring system. Now, the IELTS speaking test scores range from band 0 to band 9, and they are based on 4 criteria. The first criteria is fluency and coherence. This is worth 25% of your band score. Fluency and coherence refers to how well you are able to discuss topics without pausing or hesitating too much or repeating the same words. To get a high score for fluency and coherence, you also have to develop your answers and organize your ideas and opinions in a logical way. Now, what do I mean by organize your ideas? Well, take a look at this example.
We are healthier in some ways. We are less healthy in other ways.
Now, watch this version.
Well, I believe that generally we are more health conscious, but I think in some ways we are less healthy than in the past.
Did you notice in the second example how the candidate organized her ideas with words and phrases like, well, I believe, generally, but I think? I will talk about connecting your ideas in more detail later in this course. So let's look at the second criteria, lexical resource. This is worth 25% of your band score. Lexical resource refers to the range of vocabulary that you can use in your speaking. This includes the right collocations, words that are naturally used together, like make a phone call. To get a high score for lexical resource, you should be able to use less common vocabulary. Now, what do I mean by less common vocabulary? Well, watch this example.
Well, it snows, and sometimes it's very, very cold.
Now compare this version.
Well, it usually snows a lot, and on some days it can be bitterly cold.
Did you notice the collocation bitterly cold in the second example? Bitterly cold is a less common way of saying very, very cold. Now, you don't need to use this kind of vocabulary in every single sentence, but if you want to get band 7 or higher, you have to use some less common words or phrases. I will talk about vocabulary and synonyms later in this course. So let's look at the third criteria, grammatical range and accuracy. This refers to the number of different grammatical structures that you can use in your speaking, and how frequently you make mistakes. So to get a high band, you have to be prepared to talk about past, present, and future using appropriate tenses. You might need to talk about hypothetical situations using would plus infinitive. For example, I would really like to visit China. I've never been there. You might need to speculate about something using appropriate modal verbs. For example, my country's transport system might improve in the future. Now, to get band 7, you should be able to use a range of different structures, and it's okay to make some mistakes, as long as they are not serious mistakes. If your mistakes do not block communication, then they are not serious. Of course, to get a higher band, you are expected to make fewer mistakes. So the final criteria is pronunciation. This is also 25% of your speaking score. So to get a high band, you need good pronunciation. But good pronunciation doesn't mean that you have to change your accent. Good pronunciation means you can pronounce individual sounds correctly, stress the right syllables in a word, and have good intonation. Watch this example.
In small towns and villages, a woman usually gets married at an early age.
Now compare this version.
In small towns and villages, women usually get married at an early age.
In the first example, the candidate pronounces women, usually and early, incorrectly. English learners typically mispronounce these words because, like many English words, they aren't spelled the way they sound. We will look at pronunciation later in this course. However, it can take some time to improve your pronunciation, so if your test is very soon, I recommend you concentrate on other areas of your speaking. So that's the IELTS speaking test marking system. Everything I teach you in this course is designed to increase your score for each of these 4 areas and help you improve your speaking so that you can get your target band or even higher.